Hi, this is Shankar Sharma. At the time of this recording, Tesla scheduled an event on 10th October. It is termed Announcement of Robo Taxis. Some people affectionately call it Cybercab. Now, market participants are also eagerly awaiting the hope of a second announcement at this event. Now, many of you have asked me whether someone should buy Tesla, or should sell or hold on the back of this event. Now, let's jump in and analyze Tesla stock using fundamental analysis, using value analysis, and using technical analysis. Let's jump in and discuss all the details. Hi, welcome back. Let me take you, first of all, and introduce you Tesla properly. So if you look at Tesla, Tesla has multiple models of EV vehicles. You can see on the screen, as I scroll through, it's called Model Y, Model 3, Model X, and Model S, along with Cybertruck. Now, in addition to that, Tesla also does solar panels, as some of you are aware of, as well as solar roof. And it's also got Powerwall, as well as it's into building charging stations and accessories. Now, that is in a nutshell what Tesla's been up to. At this point in time, market participants have got one criticism just on this set of products. They say that Tesla hasn't released a new version of the product for quite some time. Okay, let's keep that aside. Let's look into the future. I'm going to take you to the future. This is on Tesla's careers website, UK website. If you look at it, Tesla has Tesla Bot. It is a humanoid robot. Humanoid robots are going to be a very popular theme in the coming years. And then it's got a AI chip called FSD chip. It's also got Dojo chip. It's also got Dojo system. And it's also got neural networks. And it's also got autonomy algorithms, code foundations, evaluation infrastructure. So there's quite a bit of things in the pipeline. Now, at this event, which is scheduled for 10th October, assuming it's not going to get postponed, we may have an announcement of the autonomous vehicle, which happens to be the Robotaxi, and there could be additional announcements. Some people are guessing that there could be EV planes. Some are guessing there'll be EV vans, etc., etc. But I'm surprised to see no one mentioned EV two-wheelers. So you might as well add that to the guesswork. Now, leaving the guesswork aside, we're going to jump in and check the numbers, crunch the numbers to see what's happening in the Tesla stock. If I take you to the financial statements of Tesla, so if you see, first of all, it's got quite a lot of employees and $778 billion market capitalization. And one thing that you got to look at is the debt and cash in hand. If you look at it, the debt and the cash in hand, the debt that Tesla's got can be equally easily covered by cash and equivalents. So it's got more cash in hand and less debt. So that is a good news. Now, closely held shares are about 13%, which is good. Now, let's look at the valuation metrics. If you look at the valuation metrics, if you see as of end of 2023, the P was a little bit on the high side. And if you come down further, the one thing that got my attention is this. If I bring you to quarterly growth and profitability numbers, you can see the net margins are declining compared to 2023. That is one red flag. And the second red flag I see is the operating margins of Tesla reducing. Now, that is a little bit of a concern. But let us see the distribution of Tesla around the world. If you look at this, Tesla got about 46% distribution in US, 22% approximately in the China, and rest of the world has got 30.79. Now, if there is a robot taxi coming out, Tesla would be better testing it in China first because of the one thing regulation. Now, if you look at the estimates, the earnings estimates are showing a little bit of a dip as we go into January 2025. That is a little bit of concern. But on the revenue side, it looks almost like flat. These are the estimates, by the way. Now, if you look at the financial health, right, it's in a good financial position. I don't see any serious issues there. It's got enough free cash flow. It's got a cash and equivalents to cover the debt. So that is good. If you look at the short term, the assets are higher than liabilities. As you know, what Richard put at Robert Kiyosaki used to explain very nicely. Asset is something puts money in your pocket. Liability is something takes money away from your pocket. So if you look at on that basis, keeping it simple, you can see Tesla's got good amount of assets compared to liabilities. It's got more assets, which is healthy. Now, knowing this data, now let's jump in and analyze the chart of Tesla to see what technical analysis says. So as you can see, at the moment, the biggest worry for anyone is the declining net margin and also declining net income. So revenue is okay. And operating margin is also reducing. So those are the little bit of constraints that might keep the Tesla stock under pressure. Now we have to remember there are 3 R's that is going to play a big role. There are 3 R's that are going to play a big role in Tesla's future stock price. Assuming that on 10th October, Elon Musk announces Robotaxis. What is one immediate thing we can think of? That is going to be regulation. The first R, regulation might be an issue. Second, as we saw here, the revenue figures, the operating margin has to increase, the revenues have to increase, and then at the same time, we would like to see more Tesla models coming out. The second R is more models. That is basically, if you look at the details, we want as much as possible release of new models. So the second R is release of new models. And third is revenues and margins. So if you combine the 3 R's, revenue and margin, we want to see release of new models. We want to see how Tesla deals with the regulation. Now, what are the threats if Tesla comes out with robo-taxis? First of all, competition. In US, we know Waymo has already been doing a lot of tests, and as well as Uber. So Uber and Waymo could be a good competition. Now, Tesla might surprise the market by saying they might actually introduce humanoid-driven or assisted robotaxis. Well, this is just a little bit of far-fetched creativity and imagination, but it's a possibility. Or it might say it is extending into other areas, like people expecting vans and two-wheelers maybe. Two-wheelers is it's just one of the things I think it's possible that they can do. At the same time, they can also, if they go into two-wheeler, if they want to go into Asia market, they got to be focusing on two-wheelers as well as battery charging of two-wheelers. Now, looking at all these things, currently, the 3 issues that are still going to surface is one is revenue, second one is release of new models. Release of new models is going to be a pretty difficult task. If you know anything about manufacturing, changing and chopping and coming up with a new model is a costly affair, especially when the operating margin is less and the demand for EVs is less, which is what the issue at the moment. If you think about the China situation, Tesla's got a very strong competition in China because there are multiple EV producers. So Robotaxi has to really beat all the competition. It's got to have a good way of dealing with regulation. And then they can think of releasing new models. Now, moving away from all this and going and checking technical analysis, let's see what the chart says for Tesla. So if you look at Tesla, this is the chart of Tesla, it's a weekly chart of Tesla. And in this case, we have a pattern called cup and handle. Now for the cup and handle pattern, if you want to base the cup and handle pattern and want to take a position, we need to see Tesla clearing $301 because 300 has been a historical resistance where previously it hit that level in 2023. If it crosses 301, it has a good chance of going to 369 based on the chart analysis. Currently, Tesla is still in a buy mode. You can see it's still in a buy zone. And it's got to clear first 271 mark, and then it's got to clear 301 mark to go higher. Now let's look at the downside because you can't always focus on long upside and then forget the downside. So if you look at the downside risk, if market doesn't buy all the news that is coming out on 10th October, and if market sees it as not such great news, then Tesla could equally go down to $214 on the downside. For that, it's got to break this bottom trend zone. So as it stands, Tesla is in a wait and watch mode. And if the operating margin increases, that's a good reason to own Tesla stock. If revenue and income streams increases, that is a good news. If it comes up with new models, that's even better news. That will excite the market. And also, if the announcement on 10th October is really super duper, and it comes up with multiple announcements, and if it can beat the competition, then Tesla stock price could jump higher. But putting all these things together, new product release, dealing with regulation, and then increasing the revenue operating margin along with price crossing through net one will make that as a good entry to consider Tesla. For now, it's wait and watch. And this is not a buy or sell recommendation. I've given you all analysis from different angles. I've given you analysis from fundamental, and then on the value analysis, it looks like slightly high priced because of the higher PE, and operating margin could be a little bit of issue, but the cash in hand is more than debt, which is positive news. So all in all, everyone will be eagerly waiting for the 10th October if it doesn't get postponed, and we should see if there are multiple announcements and if the market is excited and price crosses above 300, it will be a good one to consider. If you're in it, then you just got to wait and watch. And currently, it hasn't given any sell signals on the chart on the weekly. Now let's jump into daily and have a look. If you look at the daily chart, you can see it's still in an uptrend on the daily. In other words, in the short term, we can see a sell signal, but it has to break below the 241 for the sell signal to get activated. It's got earnings coming up very soon, and recent disappointment with deliveries. We have to take that into account and see how that shows up. And as of now, as I said, there is no clear buy signal. On the short term, it's got a bit of a selling pressure. In the medium to long term, if it goes above $301, it's got room to run to the higher side. Similarly, if it breaks below the low of this trend zone, it has and the 235 mark. If it breaks below 233, then we could expect some downside pressure to 214. So this is just complete analysis, not a buy or sell recommendation. You are responsible for your own buy or sell decisions. This is just a complete analysis from multiple angles by taking the strength and weakness of Tesla, as well as considering what is in store for future of Tesla in the form of AI robotics, and also the existing product base, as well as their financial statements, which we saw earlier, and so on and so forth. So we have to wait and watch and see what happens. I want you to subscribe to this channel so that I can do more stock analysis like this one. I appreciate your love, and please leave a positive comment. I'll see you in the next video. This is Sankar Sharma signing off. Bye for now.